Hi everyone, Martina here. I just got my Hip Kit May 2019 kits and want to share a mini album process with you. I'd like to work with the frames, the pocket life cards, two of the magical shakers, my pictures, of course, from the holidays I recently spent in the Black Forest in Germany. And to incorporate some memorabilia, I kept our trekking map we got in the hotel. At this moment, I just knew that I'd like to create a album in a size about 4 by 6 inches. I wasn't sure if I'd like to have all the pages in the same size or maybe some smaller and bigger, but I knew for sure that I wanted to create some interactive elements, and so I just started with them. I cut down some of the cardstock kit papers and a Pink Fresh and a All Heart collection paper, which are all in the May 2019 hip kits. And especially this selfie paper, it's called, I think, from the All Heart collection, is just a nice addition to the little photos I have from my holiday because there are nice sayings and nice pictures on them. I knew that I wanted to get some color onto the paper, so that's what I started with. I took some of the magical shaker powder, put it onto my craft mat, and watered the powder down just a little because it's normal cardstock, nothing special, and it will warp. The more water you add, it will warp more. And that's a thing I don't want to have, so I try to keep it as dry as possible. I used for one sheet just the Alpine Ice Rose, and for the other sheets, I created some mixtures of the Alpine Ice Rose and the Afternoon Delight Denim Blue Magical Shaker. And I'll just speed the process up for you because it's the same thing, I think, three or maybe almost four times, because at the fourth paper, I'm just splattering the color down. I set the stripes aside to dry and start to cut down my papers or cut apart my papers. I love to leave a tiny white border around the pictures because that makes them stand out a little bit more against the bold and colored paper. I will also start to sort out the pocket life cards in a minute, just with which cards I could go and which ones I don't like with my colors I've already chosen. Since I already knew that I wanted to use the all hard frames in my album, I had to test them with my pictures because it would be a classical me if I had cut the photos too small for the frames. But lucky me, they just fit perfectly. Now I'm starting to build some of the basic papers of the album, and I'm finally deciding to go with the 4 by 6 inch format for this album because I already cut the first paper in that size. Now you see me make a nice mistake. I was thinking about a flappable page and started to score it. And after I finished the scoring and folding, I just recognized that I totally forgot that I was going for a book binding, ring binding, and that needs holes and that needs space. And I totally forgot that. So I won't toss that paper because I really like it, but I have to cut it down and create something else with it later. with my new knowledge, I just restarted the process and scored one of my 4 to 12 paper stripes at 4, 3.5, and 3 inches, and cut the excess pieces off and folded it down, and now I have enough space for the holes for my binding. I totally like that when you're creating mini albums, when they have some variety in shapes and maybe some interactive elements. I really like that. Now I've got my 2 interactive elements and start thinking about what I could do with my mistake paper. And I just cut the pieces down at 4 to almost 4-inch pieces. I've been thinking about creating a pocket or something like that in the album. Now that I knew that I was going with a 4x6 album, I was going through the papers from the May kits again and looking for a paper that would be nice to have on the cover and the back sides of my album. And I found the really beautiful Star Mist cardstock. And the wonderful thing, which I didn't know that this exists, is it's self-adhesive. So you get a foil on the back. And I can just go through the papers again and have a look for another piece of pattern paper which matches to my album and glue it onto the back of my front and backing cover. That's awesome. In the meantime, you see me cutting down the falsely folded paper from earlier, and I didn't know exactly what I'm going to do with the papers, but I really liked the colors on the cardstock, so I didn't want to throw it away. As always, when I'm not having a real plan for an album, I just jump from one thing to another. So you see me folding Pocket Life cards, adding Pocket Life cards as pages to my album, and getting slowly an idea of how the album could look like. And I still had to cover the backs of my self-adhesive cardstock, and I found these beautiful rainbows and cut them down and just glued it to the backs of my covers. After that's been done, I thought that I have an idea and that's the way I'm going for, and just grabbed a rasp that I usually use to correct some little paper mistakes when I'm gluing 2 papers together. Now I'm grabbing my crocodile and measure the points out where I want to make the holes. I took a hole just in the middle, so at 3 inches, and 2 holes at about 1 inch from the sides. I totally love this kind of binding because it gives you the total freedom to rearrange your pages, to add pages, or to take pages away during the process. That's why I use this quite a lot. After that, I've had an idea of which way I'm going, as I already said, I think, and start to cover the insides of my colored pages. And I just cut a piece of pattern paper into the same or a tiny bit smaller size and glue them onto the non-colored sides, and did it with both stripes. I played around with the A and B sides of the papers, so I just got a bit more variety, but still coordinating. That's one of the things I really love about working with the hip kits. They bring you so much variety and it just matches, and it makes working with these different products so easy and joyful. In the meantime, I've already glued down the first picture into my album, and backing the photos with pattern paper, framing the photos with the frames, and I'm framing some of my trekking maps with the all hard frames. I've been thinking about filling the album off camera and just show you the results, but I thought it might be fun for you to watch me creating, and I'll just give you some music to watch it, and we'll pop in at the very end of the video to say goodbye. I hope you had fun watching me creating this album. I really enjoyed this process because there are so many tiny bits and pieces which helped me to tell the story of the beautiful holiday that I really had a hard time to stop. But I'm pretty close to the moment where I finish it, and I'll just give you a quick walk through the album now. I think it just looks yummy from above. And I totally love the dimension on the cover and on the insides because there are cardstock pieces, chipboard pieces. There is one of the Hip Kit exclusive fabric bows on the front. And yeah, I just love this tiny little album. And I'm so looking forward to add my journaling to it to keep that memory for as long as possible. I really hope you liked my video. I think it's the longest I've ever done. And I'm really looking forward to my next process video. I wish you a wonderful day. See you next time. Bye.